when we stand before our Creator and are judged for our lives. This set me on a journey of searching more in this line of thought. At the time, I had decided that my family would begin eating a biblically clean diet. That is, we would not eat any type of animal that was not listed as kosher, as it's come to be called in the book of Leviticus 11 and in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 14. I began to study and come across with Messianic Judaism over and over and over. And I began looking, and I found a congregation about 25 miles away from my home. And I called the number up and asked the man that I talked to at the time if it was all right if I come over and visit, because I'd been studying a little bit about Messianic Judaism, wanted to know more about it, wanted to know how it fit into the scriptures. And he said yes. And at the time I was reading a book from the library called What to Expect When You Go to Synagogue, and it was written from a totally Jewish mindset. And so I asked him if it was all right if I just come by myself, check things out. I asked him if there was anything that I needed to know before I got there, how to act, how to dress, any special way, different things of this nature. He told me just bring myself, and he said the only thing that I ask is, since we have oneg on Shabbat night, we went to services on Friday night at that time, and he said we have what is called oneg. It's where we have a potluck meal, as they called it then, and people would carry in different foods that were cooked already, and all we needed to do was plug the crock pot in. And he said, and then we have a fellowship after that where we just sit around and we chat and we talk and discuss about the scriptures, discuss about the lesson and things of that nature. He said the only thing I ask is that you not bring anything like pork or catfish, shrimp, lobster, things of that nature. I said that's fine. We already eat that way. So I attended for a few weeks at that congregation, the congregation in Evansville, Indiana, called Adat Eitz Chaim. The teacher there was and still is Tom Barnes. And we developed a friendship. As I began studying the scriptures, I felt at home. I felt like I was starting to learn what the scriptures were all about. For a while I continued going to church on Sunday, and then on Friday nights I would go to the little congregation there in Evansville, and many times we would stay. The services would start at 7 o'clock in the evening, and we would be there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning just discussing the scriptures, eating food, snacking, just having a great old time. And as I began to study, it was like the scriptures were opening up to me. Things were becoming so clear, even though I didn't have a total knowledge yet. And so, as I began pouring myself into the studies, I realized that Yeshua, however we want to say it, his Hebrew name, which means Yah is salvation, meant so much more than what I had ever learned in my 40 plus years growing up in Christianity. Many times people would ask me, "So, Gordon, have you quit believing in the Messiah now?" I would say, "Oh no, I believe in him more. I love him more because I understand what he taught a little bit better. I understand the type of individual he was. I understood that he taught his Father's Word, and he discussed it with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and he called them on some things, and he agreed with them on some things." And my life took a change. Several years later, my wife at the time came up to me and told me that she no longer needed my spiritual guidance, that she was going back into her life of Christianity, and she said that if her faith was good enough for her then, and if Jesus was good enough for her then, it was good enough for her now. Again, my life took a change, but it took a change for the better. I've never known one time in my whole life that I have ever given up anything expressly for Yahweh that I wasn't rewarded in return. I've given up things for myself, and I benefited from it usually, but whenever I give up things for Yahweh, I'm always rewarded.